I'm moving to the country, gonna eat a lot of peaches. I'm moving to the country, gonna eat me a lot of peaches. I'm moving to the country, gonna try not to turn my lamp off. I'm moving to the country, gonna eat a lot of peaches. Bam, bam. Peaches come from a can. They were put there by a man in a factory downtown. If I had my little way, I'd eat peaches every day. Moving to the country. Oh my god. Jeez, how did I not... I had no intention of being funny. I liked the song. But why? How did I not sing... Moving to the country, gonna eat a lot of penis. I'm moving to the country, gonna eat me a lot of penis. I'm moving to the country, gonna eat a lot of penis. I'm moving to the country, gonna eat me a lot of penis. Penis comes from a can. It was put there by a man in a factory downtown. And if I had my little way, I'd eat penis every day, 'cause I'm really, really gay. Ah! It works. No, wait, here's what we can do. Wait. Goddamn lamp. I'm moving to the country, gonna eat a lot of penis, 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 dick farts, ass farts, penis. I forgot what that one was. Ball bags, ass, AIDS, penis. It's my EPC X3000. It's got dials and knobs. That's not centered properly, but look, it turns. It's got things to... So that's that segment. That's about an hour's worth of work gone into that. I used a book. I wrapped a book in some card. Wrapped a book in some card and some tape and some other card. Made some... See, because I wanted to be able to like hit it, but if it was just card, it would like collapse on itself. So I used the book because it's quite solid, and then push pins into the book to like make twirly bits. You can plug it in. No, you can't. I didn't make a plug hole, but... Oh, that was a good one. So that was... See, I told you I'd make an NPC soundboard prop out of card, and it would be really, really funny. That Peaches song was just in my head, so I start off singing that. That's quite good. So it actually goes pretty hard. Like, I listened to it fairly recently because it was just in my head, you know, as it is now. But I was just just sitting around humming the song, and then I was to myself like, "Oh, do you remember that song? Yeah, God, let's listen to it." And you know, it opens up like. Moving to the country, gonna eat a lot of peaches. Moving to the country, gonna eat a lot of peaches. And then, I don't know, the drop or whatever, where the kick comes in and it goes. It's a bit of a banger, man, as far as old songs go. I mean, I don't know how old. It's got to be 90s, surely. Sounds quite 90s, doesn't it? Millions of peaches, peaches for me. Millions of peaches. Peaches for free. Millions of peaches. Penis. Penis for me. Millions of penis. That doesn't really make sense. You can't have millions of penis, can you? You have millions of penises. You can't have millions of penis. That's silly. It doesn't even make fucking sense. Fuck. Moving to the country. Peaches aren't even that good. I'm a fan of yogurt. I love a good yogurt or yogurt. If you're, one of them. Love a good fucking yogurt. I love, like, the thicker and creamier the better. But, a bit more of a runny yogurt with some fruit bits in it. Love me some yogurt. Yogurt's fucking good shit, man. You get, like, fruit yogurts are good. That was what I was leading on to. I was going to say, apricot, like a peach apricot yogurt with, like, chunks of peach and apricot in it. Gorgeous shit, man. But then you get like a nice thick vanilla creamy yogurt's really good. Strawberry and raspberry, of course. Then you get like the caramel toffee yogurts. Chocolate yogurt is not really a thing, more chocolate pudding. But and the yogurts with like the crunchy bits in on the side, the corners, and then you put it in and they swirl it around and eat it. Oh, it's good shit. I love a yogurt, man. I love a yogurt man. I am the yogurt man. Fear me and love me, eat me. Yogurt man, yogurt man, yogurt man. I'm spitting everywhere as I'm doing it. I'm spitting these sick lyrics. Yeah, I love a peach and apricot yogurt. They're delicious. Yummy, yummy, yummy yummums. Real life actual peaches and apricots, not so much. Like, strawberry flavoured stuff is up there with the greatest flavouring of stuff ever. Anything pink flavoured shit, the best of any kind. Pink ice cream, pink yogurts, pink drinks, just pink shit tastes delicious. Penises, pink. I was going to say pussy, really. Pussy's pink and it's delicious. It's not. It tastes horrible. Penises aren't typically pink. I guess pink / purple. Whatever. Yeah, penis is so delicious. The that's what I was going to say. So yeah, strawberry yogurt's really, really tasty, lovely, delicious, gorgeous things. And then strawberries, real life strawberries, don't taste quite like. Oh no, that should be like that. I'll sort that out in a bit. Real life strawberries don't taste quite the same as their yogurty counterparts. Flavourings are always different from the originals. Banana flavour never tastes like real bananas. But a real strawberry is good regardless. It doesn't taste like the sweetened, sugar-filled, delicious treats that they make with it in. But I love a nice strawberry. I love bananas and all kinds of grapes. I love grapes. But peaches and apricots, man. You get like a good one now and then. But if you buy like a bag of apricots, you might get a good one in there. And the rest of them are just like meh. Quite sour or bitter even, and just not worth the hassle of having a fucking bag of fruit or whatever. Speaking of fruits, hi, I'm Ewan. Welcome to my podcast. Oh, I sounded like in my head I might not have actually sounded like him. The from Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. I think it's the 4th video. Have you seen the TV show they did? That was really fucking good. The only thing I can think when I watch this has run out. When I watch shows like that, and that's sort of what I focus on when I watch most TV shows. I can't find my slightly thinner black. Oh, it's there. Is how they're made. That's one of the things I sort of. One thing that makes a show or a film good to me personally is how it's made. If it's made well, the production value, I guess is what they call it. The cinematography is good, the lighting, the sound, or whatever. But mostly the practical side of it, like a show like Deadwood, which I fucking go on and on about. It just looks brilliant. The world looks so realistic and like dirty and real and lived in. It's so well physically put together. The Lord of the Rings films, brilliant production, like them, they made, and you know, you watch the behind the scenes of the Weta Workshop and everything. They had artists and craftsmen making all of these weapons and armor and the art and everything that went into that film. It's just so amazing that they make all of this stuff. And then with something like Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, and that they made a TV show was amazing. But then if you watch it and you look at it all and realise it's all handmade, everything in that, all the puppets, the sets, everything is made by hand, and there's like stop motion animation and like computer animation in parts of it, and all of this stuff, and it just looks so overwhelming to make something like that. And I follow some of the creators on Instagram, and they were posting about the TV show, and I left a comment saying one thing that amazed me about this show is how it's made, and all I could think while watching, and I put this in the comment, all I could think while watching the show was how long and sort of tiring it must have been to make, because that's all I can see when I watch it. I watch it and go, oh, this is good, this is funny, it's dark, and it's funny and interesting, but my overriding thought is just like, Jesus Christ, that's a lot of work. Like, I love the idea of being involved with something like that, but at the same time, it horrifies me just thinking like how much you'd have to do. Like, I can take drawing and painting a bit, doing some stuff, but I don't know if I'd have it in me to like sit and make a show like that. It's impressive as hell. So I commented that, and then the creator replied to the comment just saying, I am tired, like capital letters, exclamation marks, and I don't blame them at all. It's an amazing feat. But yeah, I thought just then I sounded like the one with the food, the not the TV episode, but the internet episode. Greedy to eat all that, you'll end up with your teeth all grey. If you've seen that, Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. You know, internet phenomenon. The first one was brilliant, and that's the, like, I don't have many internet videos in my memory banks to show people to be like funny or whatever, but Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared is always one. If people haven't seen that, I'm like, you've got to watch Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. This shit is funny, and there's like some people will watch it going, oh, it's so fucked up, but then more correct people will watch it going, that's so fucking funny, that's creative, it's brilliant. Like, and again, you know, the sets are all made of felt, like the sets are almost puppets in themselves, and the puppets that they've made for that are brilliant, and it's funny, it's well written. What's your favourite idea? Mine's being creative. How do you get that idea? I just tried to think creatively. Now we're just going to do the entire... When you look at this orange, tell me please, what do you see? It's just a boring old orange. Maybe to you, but not to me. I see a silly face. Walking along and smiling at me. I don't see what you mean, because you're not thinking creatively. Now take a look at my hair. Wow, I use my hair to express myself. That sounds really boring. I use my hair to express myself. When you look at the clouds, don't you find it exciting? No. Come on, take another look. Oh, look, I can see a bat. I can see a cat. Oh no, I can see a hat. I can see a cat. I can see a man with a baseball bat. I can see a dog. I can see a frog. I can see a ladder leaning on a log. Think you're getting the hang of it now, using your mind to have a good time. I might paint a picture of a clown. Whoa there, friend, you might need to slow down. Here's another good tip of how to be a creative whiz kid. Go and collect some leaves and sticks and arrange them into your favourite colour. Blue, red, green. Green is not a creative colour. The famous line, green is not a creative colour. Now let's all agree to never be creative again. if I were a lesser man, I'd steal that as the outro to every video I do. Because, you know, my videos are so wildly, hugely creative that it would be funny to end them all saying, now let's all agree to never be creative again. And then we never are creative ever, ever again. Today we're drawing with yellow doot. Millions of peaches. Penis for me. Penis and peaches. Penis for free. Oh, where'd you get penis for free? Jesus. I want some free penis. Give me some of that shit. Penis comes from a can. It was put there by a man. In a factory downtown. I work at the penis factory. Downtown, you know, off the M2, that's a thing. Yeah, and that industrial complex down there, the penis canning factory. Oh, you work in the penis can? Yeah, you know. I can penises for a living. Well, I thought it was funny. Shut up. This is poo. You know what that means? It means I've got to say the line I say all the time, which is that there is nothing funnier in this world than seeing the word poo written down. That the greatest, you know, most perfectly written comedy bits, none of them ever in the whole world, in the history of comedy, could ever compare to seeing the word poo written down. Obviously, as most comedy, it's funniest when it's unexpected. If some comedy takes an unexpected turn, that's done really poorly. That should be like that. That needs to be yellow. Yeah, when you're not expecting to see if I say seeing the word poo written down is the funniest thing ever, and then write the word poo down and go see it's fun, you'll look at it and go, nah, Ewan, nah, not that funny. But for instance, if I do this, what I'm about to say, I'll need to leave it a while. I can't do it just next episode or whatever. I'll need to wait, so it's a surprise. But if I just opened up an episode, fade in from black, and the first thing you see is the word poo written down, you might not laugh hysterically. You might not fall out of your chair and spit your drink out all over yourself. But you might see it and go, poo. I would. Maybe that's just a sign of where I'm at, maturity-wise and whatever else. Peaches come in a man. That should be penis. I should have said penis, shouldn't I? Penis comes in a man, and he saves it in a can. So he can smoke in his van. He keeps children in a van. He was... That was funny. Not as funny as seeing the word poo written down, but yeah, it was pretty funny. Man, I'd love to be able to get away with naming a character Pooh like it was nothing. Oh, that's such a quaint, nice, beloved character. What's its name? Pooh. Sorry, what? Yeah, its name's Pooh. The bear's name is Pooh. Yeah, the bear's name's Pooh. And what? What are you gonna do about it, slut? What the fuck are you gonna do, you whore? You fucking whore. What are you gonna do? I'll call my bear Pooh. I don't give a shit. Or a fuck. Or a piss. Or a dick. A penis in a can. I don't give any of that shit. I don't fucking care. I'm gonna call my bear Pooh. Not a damn fuck of a thing you can do about it. Fuck you. Fuck you! The Tipex is really watery. It's not gonna cover properly. Oh my god, what are we gonna do? Now let's see if this Posca will cover this other Posca. And we can save the... That's what Poscas are supposed to do, isn't it? It's supposed to fucking cover that shit. I have to speak about my adventures with the Posca company a bit later on. Not this episode, mind, but you know, at a later date. I was put here by a man in a factory of cans. He came inside me downtown. Millions of... I need to replace the... God, why is nothing appropriate? Do I have... Oh, I've got a few. Oh, we're drawing yellow today, ladies and gentlemen. Should we... Well, let's quickly... Ewan, you're getting through this very quick. What are you doing? Ah, shut up. I'm busy. I'm a busy man. I gotta move. Forward. Keep going. Never stop. Never fucking stop. Do I have a brown? A brown. Oh, this one. This is good. This is a good dark red brown colour. I like it. I featured it in my tiger-headed hero wrestler man drawing. My tiger-headed He-Man. There may or may not be some more toy action coming up. I don't want to spoil anything, give anything away, but you know, that might be something that you can look forward to. Why am I losing everything? I don't know what I'm doing. I'm very stressed. My skin's breaking out in fucking spots and scabs and shit. Not like all over the place, but enough that it's noticeable to me at the very least. And everything's getting to me a lot these days, guys. It's really difficult. It's just too much. I could. Has funny little eyes. That's Pac-Man. See, this is Bert. I think this is Bert and Ernie. Hey, Bert. That's the impression I can do of Ernie is hey Bert, and the impression I can do of Bert is which isn't really an impression, it's just a noise, isn't it? He wears a turtleneck. That's funny. Not as funny as seeing the word P written down, but yeah, it's still pretty funny. Penis comes from a can. It was put there by your mum. Ha 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 ha. Your mum likes penis. But it would be weird if she didn't, because then you wouldn't have been born. So she at least has to like penis somewhat. Doodle-doo-doo. The old Hitler mustache nose shadow. Can't get enough of that. Love it. Bo Buffett. Tweety Pie. I don't know. Just some yellow fuckers. Who did I have last time? I had Jake the dog, Bart Simpson. SpongeBob was an obvious one, wasn't it? I'm drawing yellow characters. Let's draw SpongeBob. Oh, I did a whole thing with Pikachu, didn't I? Oh, I'm not drawing Pikachu. And then there was loads of Pikachus. Oh, that was funny. I think I drew Ernie last time, and so I figured I'd draw Bart or Bert. I drew Bart as well. Did I say Bart already? I drew Bart and Ernie, and now I'm drawing Bert and Splurny. Jesus Christ, Ewan, shut up. Fucking shut up. Christ. Or sing some more. Millions of peaches. Peaches in me. Put all of your peaches in me. I like peaches. Oh, put them in my body. Ooh, scooby-da-da-doo. I don't even like peaches that much. I've had a few and they've never been great. So instead I'll eat some grapes. Millions of peaches. Peaches for me. Peaches and peaches. Peaches and pea. Penis is penis. Penis for me. Oh, it is dry. It's all shiny, but it is dry. So that means I can do this. He's got a fucking punk hairstyle, man. Has old Bert. Bertius Bertonitus. old Bertie Boo. Is this going to ruin it? Always scared of ruining drawings, usually with colour. That's the easiest way. I've seen very recently, actually, I can't recall the artist names necessarily, but quite a few posts on Instagram where like people showing their drawings, and I see the drawings and I'm like, holy shit, that's a cool fucking drawing. And then they show it coloured and I'm like, nah, you might have ruined that one. Should have left that shit black and white, because coloured, it's not it. And not to say, oh, I'm perfect and I know when my stuff should and shouldn't be coloured, because there's probably many times I've coloured drawings and ruined them. But I like to think, in general, I've got a pretty good sense of how and where and when to use colour, and when colour might not be the best option. It's usually the case of certain drawings are intended, that I do, are intended to remain black and white. And then if I intend for something to have colour, I sort of draw it in such a way that the colour makes sense, and therefore the colour doesn't tend to ruin it. I say that, I still make mistakes, I still have my moments where that's not applicable. I'm not perfect, I know I might seem it, and I apologise for bursting that bubble, but you know, I'm not perfect. You know, I'm a flawed human being, much to my chagrin. Against my better judgment, I remain human, and as such, I am open to being flawed and making mistakes. Like maybe this brown wasn't the best idea. It's not terrible, but maybe it's not the greatest thing in the world. So we give him some shine. Put some shine on that motherfucker. Make him a nice shiny Pac-Man. Nothing better than a good shiny Pac-Man. I always say, what do I always say? Every episode. Nothing better than a nice shiny Pac-Man. That's not a thing I've ever said. I'm just... Why are you rushing through this, Ewan? Because there's a joke at the end and I want to... the joke at the end sort of requires me to have as much work done early on as possible. And then you'll see what the joke is and you'll go, oh, is that it? And... Ooh! After complaint... Ooh, let me have some beverage. After complaining, oh, I can't afford new art books, I took out a loan specifically so I could get this. Whoa, look at that, the size of that fucking big boy. Dungeons and Dragons, Art and Arcanus, visual history. It's literally that, a visual history of the entirety of Dungeons and Dragons as a game, as a brand, as a thing that exists in the world. Saw this in the shop. I was looking for comics, books, whatever. Every now and again, I'll have a look at like the roleplay section, the Dungeons and Dragons section, just to see if there's anything I want to get my grubby little hands on. And rarely there is, because most of the time it's like a gelatinous cube figure or miniature that's like this big that you can actually open up and put miniatures in, like it's absorbed them. And this new one I saw, it's got like slots on the outside where you can put in these plastic like weapons and bits of armor and other like objects and stuff, so it looks like it's absorbing material, which is what a gelatinous cube does. And I saw that and I was like, that's so fucking cool, I want that. But it's like 35 quid for this acrylic box. So I voted against getting that. But then I saw this and I thought, ooh, that's a big chunk of a book. A visual history. Visual is good. I'm in fan of visual. I picked it up and flicked through it and I was like, oh, paintings and drawings and covers of books and magazines, and there's like dungeon layout drawings and stuff. Look at that shit. I love that. It's everything I love about Dungeons and Dragons. And of course they look. D&D was in Stranger Things. It was in E.T. It's been in all these fucking. This is how it came to be, I guess. Christopher Lee. Is that Christopher Lee? No, it's not. Peter Cushing. That's the one. Peter Cushing isn't Christopher Lee. They're two separate people. But he's a film star of. Oh, that's right. Yeah, Star Wars. So he was Grand Moff Tarkin, isn't he? And then Christopher Lee is Saruman in Lord of the Rings. But look, all this old artwork. They've got like Gary Gygax, the guy, like the original covers of like stuff they did pre D&D. These old drawings and stuff. They're so fucking cool. And also this gives me a good opportunity to show what I consider to be somewhat of like the degradation of the art of D&D. Like, sure, the quality is good, but is made worse by... Oh, look, they stole everything from comic books, all these poses. Strange inspirations. Not really strange, just stealing ideas from other places. Which, you know, I do. That Judge Dredd pose that I steal. Although it is cool that, like, man with gun and then man with sword. So it's different enough that it fucking, you know. So this is an look, evolution. It's like evolution, but evil. It's the evolution of monsters, because they have several bits like this throughout the book where it shows a sort of iconic monster from the franchise of Dungeons and Dragons, and they show its artwork and evolution throughout the years. So original in 1974, and then 2014, fucking 40 years later. So what I like to do is go, well, this is where it started being digital art only, and this is when it was good. The problem for me is, like, you get to here, the quality of the artwork doesn't necessarily get better. It just gets more sort of modern. Because between here and here, there's a huge jump in, like, artwork quality. This is just a funny little drawing. That's also a funny little gnome running away. And then it's like, okay, not outstanding, not mind-blowing, but, you know, a bit more of a vicious kind of looking worm. You get to here, and it's like, you know, the angle and everything, the curve of that worm and coming out of the ground and everything, that's pretty fucking cool. And then here, it's just like, well, it's almost the same. It's a bit more sort of imposing. And now it's digital, so it looks a bit shinier. And then here, that, like, it's a drawing of a monster, and it's all right, but it's a bit dull. I like the shape. I like the shape of the mouth, but it feels a bit dull. And obviously, it's I think it's digital artwork. It looks quite real, actually. I might have shot myself in the foot on that one. But maybe this is just one example where the rule doesn't necessarily work. But there's plenty of places where the rule does work, I assure you. Love all this. Oh, there's a video, actually, of the Tomb of Horrors that I watched while I was visiting my friend Sam. Look up on YouTube, Tomb of Horrors Worst Dungeon Ever or something. Where it was this dungeon made, I guess, by Gary Gygax. And the whole point of it was to be, like, unwinnable. Where there's parts where, like, there's a room you go into, and regardless of how good your character is, how good you are at role playing, how good at problem solving you are, you just cannot. The rule of the room states that you cannot get out, and it's just like, well, that's not fun. That's not fun to play. You go into this room in a dungeon and you can't get out, and now you're dead. And it's like, well, that's the whole point of being a dungeon master, is to make a fun game for your players, not to beat them. You're not working against them. You're supposed to work with them. And this is some of the original, I guess, artwork for that. I love all of this stuff, but I also hate it. Video games and all kinds of things do it the same, where it's like you build a dungeon and it's just so random. There's just random bits and offshoots and stuff, and it's like, does no one who builds these dungeons have, like, any forethought of planning or layout and have just like a corridor and a room and other rooms and like make it symmetrical and make it make sense in terms of use. Like if you're walking down a corridor, you don't want to have to walk down a fucking long corridor to get to one room to get to another room. Like shit should be more easily accessible, you know. If you're designing your dungeons, the original Beholder. That's a funny drawing. Big Eye. He's a big guy. But the original Beholder, Sphere of Doom. It's a funny name. It's so funny. That's a pretty like competent drawing. It's really cool. You know, same pose. But this is just, and you know, they were inventing this stuff. So I can look at it now with hindsight and go, that's a silly, funny-looking little silly guy. One eye and then these little worms coming out of his head. The shading sort of leaves a bit to be desired. But they were literally inventing this shit. Like, this hadn't really been done before. The Beholder didn't exist prior to that. So that's pretty fucking impressive. I think second edition wins it in terms of artwork. Like third edition and fourth edition are basically the same thing. I don't know if they're by the same artist, but like... And fourth edition is digitally painted and it's just a worst version. A slightly worse version. Like, that doesn't look as good as this. I don't know how much you can see on camera, but like that, it doesn't have the same sort of like flavour or energy to it. That feels like a copy of this. That, I mean, looks more like this one, but it doesn't feel as substantial. Digital painting. Basically, any digital painting, I'm just going to hate on the basis that it's a digital painting. That's not true, because there are some in here that I will point out that are actually really good. But yeah, this one I think wins it. This looks like a big evil guy, like a man's head. But this just looks like a fucking beast, like a horrible thing that exists, as opposed to like an evil monster. And I appreciate that. That looks more like just some ungodly, horrible shape, and it looks fleshy like a testicle and veiny and horrible, whereas this looks like an evil man head, and I'm not really into that as much. It's cool, especially the hand-painted version, but yeah, I like the more vile, disgusting look. The original. That's so funny. Lizard Man. I can't go through every page because it's too much. Asarak. Who's Asarak? Some evil skull man. See, sometimes he was a skull, sometimes he was a man. Sometimes he was a skull man, and then a skull again, and then a man again. And then a skull again, and then a man again. A lich who's just a head. Fucking sort it out. What is he? A man or a skull? Jeez. Old character sheet. Look at that. You could photocopy that and use it. And that's all you need. That's when I do my character sheets. I literally just write like the stuff. The character sheets that are made for the games are cool, and it's got like, you know, design elements and titles and separate sections for all the things, and that's cool. But really, you just need a bit of paper with the information, and what I prefer to have for my character sheets is all of this stuff for like the information. The experience can be a smaller box. Gold can be a smaller box. Equipment, whatever, and then this much space for character drawing. Portrait of the character, action, pose, draw his equipment and armor. Visual. This is a visual history. You should have visual character sheets. You draw the damage on the character and you draw what armor he's got. And it's a nice idea, but in practice you'd get sick of that after, you know, halfway through the first game. I've got to say, I think this 2002 edition of the Demogorgon is possibly my favourite. Because again, it looks more vile and horrible and nasty, whereas this looks too designed. Where it's got like a, you know, a strong muscular body and these baboon heads, and like there's design gone into the length and weight of the tentacles and stuff, whereas this is just sort of this weird slender. It's designed very well, very competently, the musculature and everything, it sort of works like snake necks with hyena heads and these long fucking tentacles and tails and stuff. Just looks nasty and horrible. Whereas this looks like it's designed to be vicious. Whereas this looks like it was grown naturally. And then the 2015 digital art edition. I think this is digital as well, but like this looks like a funny, nasty, cool creature drawing. These look like concept art, where like you've tried to make concept art of this cool, badass demon. And this looks more demonic than that. Looks like a weird, animal hybrid. This looks a bit more demonic, but it looks too much like Alien, and I don't know. They're all good. This isn't bad artwork. This is very good artwork. But in terms of like nasty creature design, I have my preferences, and that's all. I really like this text. That's really cool. Drawn text. Dragon magazine. But I'm spending all my time at the front, and there's some really cool artwork towards the back. So I might spend a bit longer looking at this. That's really funny. That's really, really funny. Designs, these original designs for some of these monsters, Rust Monster, the Bulette, the Owl Bear, were designed on these little plastic toys that were bought randomly in the store. That's quite cool. I love this because it looks like something Napoleon Dynamite would draw. Whereas like it's not bad art necessarily. It's kind of bad art, but it's drawn with like love and passion, I guess. With no strong sort of competent knowledge of anatomy and applying that to art and whatever. You just sort of think of a thing and draw and paint the thing rather than really focus on it has to look a certain way, it has to be built a certain way. It's just art for the sake of art. That's what it feels like anyway. I don't know. Amateur art. It feels amateur. I don't know. This is really cool. One of the original like covers. I love the lighting on that demon face. These two guys trying to get its jeweled eyes prized loose. The paintings of the people are sort of like whatever, but the lighting on that demon is fucking great. Love that. There's a lot and 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 a lot in this book. There's like a lot to look at. All this old artwork. I was looking at this on the train on the way back from having bought it, and just marveling at it. These old fucking drawings, man. It's so cool. It's old fantasy artwork. I love it. Yeah, it's fucking great. And of course, I can't help but think, because everything's changed so much in terms of the artwork and design and stuff. If I was around producing the kind of work I'm able to produce, I'm just a couple, like 1 or 2 generations past where I think my art would have really been useful to something like Dungeons and Dragons, where now it's solely digital artwork. Many Faces of Lolth. That original's really funny. Is a spider with just a little human face just in the middle there. This 1980 version is really badass. Really imposing and deadly looking. 81 is a little bit goofy. 2001 had it, I think. That 2001 version is really fucking good. A really cool painting there. I don't know, it might even be digital. It's hard to tell, it's quite a small piece, but it might be a real painting. This 2002 one's quite good. It's got more of a crab-looking body than the spider, which isn't bad, but I think it's supposed to be spidery, isn't it? And in 2008, sort of a little bit over the top. But good. It's good shit. It's good shit. But I know, looking through, because I came into D&D really around sort of 3rd edition. The books I had were edition 3.5, where I guess they'd like updated things. That's really cool. I like that. Like, it's not, necessarily what you'd consider high professional standard today, this painting, but it's really fucking good. Like, I'd like to take this painting and then do my own version of it, like steal the poses and stuff, because I really like it. I love the colours as well. And I think that's the thing, a lot of this old artwork, it's got like a goofy charm to it, where even if you might look at it and go, that's not really great artwork, it's sort of, it's still very likeable because of, yeah, it's got like a something about it that's just inherently likeable. I mean, that's pretty fucking cool, being invisible and shit. What's up with your elbows, man? Your elbows are seeping out for your bandages. What's going on? Testicles. But yeah, I feel like I was talking about. Yeah, I came in edition 3-ish, and the artwork in those books that I had, there was pencil drawings, ink. I've gone on about this again and again, so I'm gonna do it some more. Pencil drawings, ink drawings, like full color, like watercolor, acrylic paintings, some little ink wash paintings, a tiny bit of digital art here and there, but very rarely. And that's where I feel like I'd have if I wasn't producing work at that level back then. I was, very, very young. But I feel like the sort of work I can maybe produce now would fit in then. With ink drawings and like my paintings and stuff, I think I'd have a real chance at having my work in this arena. But now it's all digital art, and they only accept digital art because now it's a brand. It used to be a cool game, and it was a brand and it was owned by a company, but it was about like creating and imagining and making these things. And look at that, fucking look at that. I guess that's the guy. Photo of basic rules designer Frank Metzger holding Larry Elmore's alternate design. Okay, so that's the rules designer holding the artwork by someone else. That's a really fucking good painting though. It's more of a good drawing, and the paint is sort of just colouring in. You can see all the line work and stuff, but still really, really fucking good. The poses on everyone are brilliant. It's like got an ounce of like Frazetta about it. The dragon's really, really good. Very well thought out. That's really, really cool. I like that. I like that a lot. And then a fucking newer version of it. Same pose. The dragon's almost in the same pose. Got all the gold and shit. Elmore. Oh, so I assume it's the same artist. Oh, so this is the concept art. And then that's the final illustration. Okay, well, maybe if I actually read the fucking thing. Love dungeon layouts that have like art in them, so it's not just a room and you write there's a monster in here. There's actually a drawing of the monster in the room, drawings of doors and stairs, little weapons and beholder drawn in there floating with coffins, treasure drawings and shit, a troll, rats here, demons, a zorn, a xorn, an octopus in the water in this cave area with treasure chests. Fucking love that shit. That's like the best way to do dungeon layouts, is like that. Little drawings and shit. If I haven't shown some already, I'll have to show... Oh, just quick. Go on then. Wait, no, one sec. Zach Smith is one of my favourite artists for various reasons. He's one of 100 favourite artists. And this is a Dungeons and Dragons-esque adventure book he put out. It's a setting of basically like an Alice in Wonderland version. Well, not version, an Alice in Wonderland setting for you to play in Dungeons and Dragons. It's got characters, it's got monsters, it's got places and weapons and spells. He wrote it all himself. He did all the artwork himself. He's a little bit of a genius with that kind of thing. The artwork, his artwork, can be hit and miss here and there. It depends the sort of artwork he's doing. For me, personally, in my personal taste. But what I want to show specifically, he does some dungeon layouts that are like this, which, they're quite cool. They're very, he's an artist, so it has a sense of design and art to it. But There's a map he did, which is quite cool. There we go. It's all like isometric stairs and like the MC Escher painting almost, blocks and stairs and archways and stuff. And then he's like got separate drawings that he's sort of superimposed or laid on there digitally, because this and this is the same drawing, but they're just put on there. But still, it makes for a really cool like visual map of the dungeon. And here they're like this way up, and then here they're this way up. That's what I love to see is dungeon layouts done like that. It's still not even halfway through this fucking thing. Amazing painting. Easily, he does quite a lot of the artwork. There's quite a lot of his in here. And that's a painting. That's a real painting, and it's fucking phenomenal fantasy artwork. That's really fucking good. I just, because I have a love of, you know, the world and, you know, the ideas and the imagination of Dungeons and Dragons, and I'd love to be a part of that, but I don't think my current aesthetic fits in with their current aesthetic. As I say, it's a brand now, so they have a brand identity, and everything has to strictly adhere to that sense of identity and design. Whereas before, they'd have shit like this. That's so fucking good. Issue number 1 of Dragon magazine. Crazy. With the dragon on the front cover. That makes a lot of fucking sense, doesn't it? I mean, that's the problem with what brands do. As soon as something becomes a brand, Jesus Christ. Is that... Because that looks like the thing from Doom, doesn't it? Is it like a cacodemon or whatever? Maybe Doom just stole this for their monster. And, you know, Doom was made by, like, a guy in a basement, so it's perfectly fair to think he was just taking bits and pieces from different places. I know nothing of the history of Doom or whatever, and very little of the history of Dungeons and Dragons. And that's another easily one. So, yeah. Where's that other painting we looked at of his that I said was really, really good? Yeah, this, and this by the same guy. I love the background elements, like the weird orange stuff, some diamond things, some bubbles, waves, random elements all like put together to make this weird demonic background. And the flesh and everything, the lighting on this guy is really, really fucking good. That's amazing. The red underneath blending into like the yellowy flesh. God damn. But yeah, brands, they develop a style and they say, right, this is it. And they narrow themselves and they sort of close themselves off. When there's so much more you could be doing with, like, Dungeons and Dragons, for instance. But they cut themselves off from that. See, this, 1998, sort of wild and imaginative and a bit crazy, a bit off the wall. The colours sort of all over the places, but... Sorry, I'm picking dried skin off my lips because my face is scabbing up all over the place. It still fits together, but just a sort of wild, crazy-looking, imaginative piece of artwork. And now you go into the more modern age, and everything has to be like the new Batman films, gritty and realistic. It has to sort of make sense. And now you get this, which is like, it looks cool, it looks badass, he's got a puma. But it looks a bit like meh. Like, sure, it's cool, but, you know, it's not crazy cool like this guy. They almost had it in 93. But then they went, no, let's go crazier in 98. And then they're like, no, tone it down a bit. Drizzt. An iconic D&D character. That's fucking cool. These wild wizard dragon paintings. I know it's quite a meme to, like, have those crazy dragon design shirts and airbrush paintings on trucks and stuff, but there's some good fucking artwork in there. If you still saw artwork like this in books today, in D&D books, I'd be so happy. because the only word I can really use is goofy, because it's like, it's cool, it's really good, and he looks gnarly and badass, but there's like there is a goofiness to it, and I love that. I think it's really, really cool to see more sort of just fun drawings and artwork, as opposed to everything having to be heavily digitally rendered like this. 5th edition looks good, but again, gritty realism, everything has to make sense. The 2nd edition from 93 is fucking... I like how the original edition, I mean, they pretty much had the design on point and they stuck with it. 4 tentacled octopus head, claws and robes, and that's about it. And they've pretty much stuck to this, so that's pretty cool to see. Original, 1st edition, pretty much the same. 2nd edition gave him a hat. 3rd edition, no hats. The hat looks silly. He's not having a hat anymore. And they continued hatless. A hood is just about okay, sort of fits in with the aesthetic. No hats. No hats on the Mind Flayers. We're done with hats. There's one guy who did this drawing, was like, would look a lot better with a hat though. No! No fucking hats! Shut up, Tony! We're not giving the Mind Flayer a hat. Fuck you and your fucking hat designs. I think the 3rd edition, this is crazy and wild. This is really fucking cool. That's a really cool drawing. I think that was sort of it. 4th edition, that to me, this is whack. I don't quite know what it is. I really don't like it. I think it's the lack of... It might be line work, and maybe that's... Well, I prefer lines, because I draw, and I love lines and line work. And this, it feels really wishy-washy around the edges. It doesn't feel very solid, because of like the digital painting technique used. Like, they've spent ages and ages rendering these tentacles. You can see the amount of work that's gone into the tentacles and the faces and stuff. And then the robes look sort of just like sort of slapped together. The armour sort of, yeah, it's good enough, it's fine. Whereas this just looks cool through and through. It's like they had something really good and then they went past it. They went too far and it stopped being good. Zombies are always fun. There's an artist I wanted, he's got loads of work in here, and he came into the D&D world a bit later on. So he's in, towards the tail end of the book. And his artwork for me was one of the first... He's one of the first people I noticed as like a D&D artist, and I was like, oh shit, this guy. That's really fucking cool, though. Really smart use of like creating depth, of having like just... it makes so much sense, but less paint here, where it's just like a couple of washes and a little bit of brushwork for vague notion of detail. And then here, loads of paint rendering all the flesh and the creases and stuff. Really sort of brings the head forward and that pushes the body back. This guy's killer. Brom, artist favourite, I guess. Insane painting. Ridiculous. I assume an oil painting. It looks like oil on canvas or linen or something. And like the muscles, but like there's a softness to the muscles where they're not like painstakingly drawn and rendered. She's not got enormous tits. She's got boobs that are like fit and they're held in place by this, piece of armour. Really, really fucking good painting. As is this. By the same guy. Fucking love that. I'm not a fan of yellow in general. And that's what we're doing today. It's all yellow, isn't it? But yeah, in general, I'm not a fan of using yellow in paintings too much. A little bit here and there, but not too much. But I can appreciate it when it's used well. Some more of his artwork. This guy, Brom, I might have to look him up a bit more because, god damn, the guy's good. The guy's really, really good. Monstrous Manual, man. If someone can find me a copy of that, that would be so much fun to look through. Because the Monster Manuals are always the first books I get whenever I get, like, if I have the D&D rule books. I had 4th edition, but I got rid of them because they were kind of boring. But the 3.5 edition I had, the first one I got was the Monster Manual just for the fucking drawings of the monsters because I love them so much. And then, Dungeon Master Guide, Player Handbook. The fucking £100 you need to spend on rule books just to play the goddamn game. Love these drawings. These remind me of like John Blanche artwork. His paintings and drawings, like from the those fighting fantasy books. They've got just such like a grit and dirt to them. They just feel filthy and horrible. And I love that. Just nasty little goblins and things. Brilliant. And they won't have artwork like this anymore. They just won't do it. Everything has to be digital paintings. Those are cool too. I can't point out every fucking thing. This is really cool, except for this hand. I don't like the angle of it. It doesn't seem right. Like it should be like that or like that. It just doesn't feel. It's just a personal thing. I don't know. That's like that painting, but from a different angle. That's really cool. See, that's the demon with the fire underneath, and they're crowbarring its eye out, but it's from above instead of below. That's really cool. Okay, let's just find this fucking guy. His name's Wayne Reynolds, I think. Love isometric dungeon drawings, like my black and white dungeon drawings that I did. I want to do more of, but I just can't find the time. I need someone to commission me, to give me like 150, £200 and to do like a large scale black and white dungeon drawing, and I'll do it because, man, I want to. But I can't afford to. I don't have the time to spend that it takes to do them. I have to do commissions for people that I can do in shorter spaces of time. That's really cool. It's got an old dumb goofiness to it, but it's a really solid painting. Loved Baldur's Gate. Those were fun games. This is about where I came in. Yeah, 3rd edition. Where they had the books that like looked like, you know, fancy tomes with, you know, embellished bits and stuff, and there were all these drawings. See, they had these like pencil drawings of, you know, the different races and stuff. These pencil drawings and these paintings, they were all in the book together. All this different artwork came together. And in 5th edition, like it's a good enough picture of an orc, but compared to some of the other artwork, it's one of the most boring things I've ever seen in my life. For one thing, he's just standing there, so it's like, draw us an orc for our book showing what an orc is. Okay, here is orc, sure. But you get stuff like this. That's so fucking good. And they've got like life to them, and they look sort of ugly and horrible. This guy, I think 3rd edition had it. Was perfect. More pig looking, hairy arms and strapped like mashed together bits of armor and stuff. That drawing, it looks like it was drawn by a mental patient who'd never interacted with humans, but he was trying to draw a human having never seen a human. He'd never seen himself in a mirror. It's so funny. And these like more pig-like monsters. The 2nd edition was really good. That's a really fucking good drawing. And then 5th edition, digital painting, boring, meh, no colour, just sort of whatever. But you know, it happens. These are all phenomenal paintings. This is when they started to become a brand, really, and they had these set of characters that would appear in their artworks and their games and stuff. Repeating characters as opposed to just random adventurers. But they were still having cool pencil drawings and ink drawings and stuff like this, showing all the different races. And I love how the orcs, the lady orcs, are just orcs with tits. I think that's brilliant. But they haven't tried to make them really slender and sexy. And that's one thing I want them to have on like Skyrim, because I've got a mod which makes the orcs in Skyrim really big and chunky, like just wide. So when you give them big armor, it looks just really wide and blocky, which is sort of how I feel orcs should look. They look bigger than humans. But then if you make a female one, she's still just like a slender female, and it's just like, I want just a fucking big, bulky, enormous, giant, nasty-looking orc, but with tits. That's what you should do for female orcs. That's Wayne Reynolds artwork. There'll be more. This is a long one. Strap in for this episode, he says towards the end of the episode. Evolution of the Roper. Quite funny in the original editions as always. Second edition. I love that second edition. Little ink drawing. Loads of saliva. Third edition's pretty cool. Just looks like a tree. Fourth edition, bit too nasty. Well, not too nasty, but like looks more monstrous than I think. Oh no, I don't know. And the fifth edition again just looks sort of dull. These have a lot more life to them than this. Personally, I feel like, yeah, it's well rendered, but at what cost? That's a fucking killer, insane piece, man. The demon from the original, we got beholders and mind flayers having a drink. Kobolds and goblins. Fights going on. She's pretty hot. This is Wayne Reynolds. Okay, like there's a few of his pieces from here. Ridiculous. I think he uses acrylics and inks and stuff, but just... And he's got such a definitive style that every piece of his looks like a Wayne Reynolds painting. He's really good with action and poses and design. More of his work. Drawing battle scenes is so fucking difficult. It takes so much effort to draw like more than two bodies. That's just insane. And then use of colour to push stuff into the background as well. You have the background colour orange and brown, and then you paint things more orange and brown the further towards the back they get, and then you pull them forwards using harsher, contrasted blacks and whites. That's iconic. I had this game, this box set. It came with like a bunch of miniatures, these like pre-made character sheets, and it had his artwork on the front, and I think that's brilliant. Such a good piece. A bit hard to put across 2 pages, so you need to because of the size and dimensions of it, but you do lose a bit in this crease, which is a shame, but still really good. Love the design of the dragon. And this is when, around this edition, when the dragon started having specific designs. Like the black dragon had to have quite a skeletal looking head, and the red dragon looks a certain way. And that's when, for me, it starts to get a bit like, like dragons should just look like whatever. And if it's a red dragon, it happens to be red. But it's like, no, red dragons are very specific and they have to look a certain way and have certain traits. And blue dragons have a certain... I'm like, okay, cool, but, you know, that's where you start to lose me, when you hold everything down too much. Fourth edition... sort of all right. They still having, you know, they've got like Wayne Reynolds artwork on the front covers, so that was good. Stuff like this is very, very good. So yeah, instead of like praising it, I'm just going to bitch about digital artwork, and only because I don't do digital artwork, and so I feel like I've lost my chance to be as big an artist as I would have been had I not. Something, I don't know. Fucking whatever. Shut up. Fucking idiot. This is really cool. This is the original Wayne Reynolds piece, Beholder and the whole thing. And then someone, director John Schindehiter, administered a widely publicised art segmentation study challenging artists to render alternative versions of Wayne Reynolds' landmark illustration. So all these different versions by different artists, which is really, really cool. I might even have a go at it just for fun. So the same concept, but all these different artists. Some of them more cartoony, some more dark and ominous, but all really, really good pieces. This is Wayne Reynolds. I think I could do something similar if it was all flesh, but like when it comes to, that's why I don't paint robots too much, because trying to design robots and mechanics and armor and weapons and shit, it's just, I can't quite get my head around it. Not Wayne Reynolds. He does just fine. Look at that shit. His construct. That's insane. Putting these bits in shadow is perfect. The claws and everything. These blades are rendered so nicely. The background elements fit in terms of design, and then the colour. These like construct hounds. So fucking good. And then you got this, which is all flesh and tentacles and shit. Fur, which can be difficult to paint. Action poses and tentacles as design elements. Really fucking good. The owl bear. I think so. The original, I don't know what the first edition was doing, but the original was pretty great. Sort of bear, owl head. Second edition was okay. I think third edition is possibly my favourite, because the fifth edition, it's too owl-like, and it's got wings, and it's like a bear body. Like, I get it, but and it's digital, so I think, yeah, I think it's digital. Fourth edition actually was really, really, really fucking good. I love the pose is great, the hands, the claws look great, but for me, it's too perfectly rendered, and that's where this one sort of, it's a bit dull in terms of pose. Like if this painting had this pose, I think it would be the perfect owl bear artwork. So I don't know. I'm torn on that one, I guess, because it matters. My opinion on it matters. Really fucking good. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how long I can really sit here and just gawk at gorgeous artwork. This troll, man, love the colours. The turquoisey green, blue blending of colours in this troll's body. The leap of this guy. This fella pulling at the reins. He's got the troll pulling his cart. Love that. Fucking love it. This dungeon, it's brilliant. So, oh no, that I need to. If I've gone past it, I don't know. There was one I wanted to. This is a digital painting, and I fucking love it. I think it's fantastic. There's not enough good I can say about it. It's so perfect. It's rendered, but it's not too rendered, and it's rendered where it needs to be, and it's got so much depth and tone. The lighting in the fucking mouth and eyes is brilliant, and that's something that's I assume is a lot easier to do digitally, because you can make shit glow a lot easier digitally than you can with actual paint. And it's Tiamat, who has 5 heads, 5 dragon heads, and each one is a different colour. And in the later editions of D&D, each coloured dragon has certain powers and stuff. So it's quite a cool design thing there. So yeah, for all of my bitching and shitting on digital artwork, this is a digital piece, and I fucking love it. So